Okay, students, good day. I'm just here to give you some examples with the multiplying fractions assignment that was given last week. So just in case you need a little refresher, please continue watching this and pay attention as I go through the steps. All right, so we're going to start off with this problem over here first, which says 24 over 28 multiplied by 7 over 12. Okay, so remember now that the rule for multiplying fractions, it says numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. However, when we're multiplying fractions, we have the option of simplifying where possible before we even multiply. And so we can check two ways. We can look to see if there are any ways we can simplify vertically, which would be up and down, or if there are any ways we can simplify diagonally, which would be crisscross. The goal here is to ensure that when you simplify, you are simplifying a numerator and a denominator. You can never simplify going straight across because you cannot simplify numerator and numerator or denominator and denominator. It always has to be the opposites. Okay, so let's get into it. Now here we have 24 over 28 times 7 over 12. And I can see here that, yes, I can reduce 24 and 28, but I can also reduce 24 and 12 as well as 28 and 7. So since that's going to give me smaller numbers to work with, I'll go ahead and reduce diagonally. So I know that I can reduce 24 and 12 with 12 because 12 is the GCF of 24. 12 is the GCF of 12 and 24. 12 into itself leaves us with 1. 12 into 24 leaves us with 2. I can do the same thing for 7 and 28 using 7 as the GCF. 7 into itself, 1. 7 into 28, 4. So now I have 2 over 4 times 1 over 1. And following the rules, this will give me 2 times 1 is 2 over 4 times 1 is 4. I can simplify this even further using GCF, and I will end up, after dividing by 2, I will end up with 2 divided by 2 is 1 over 4 divided by 2 is 2. So our final answer is 1/2. Okay, now the next problem, let's get there. Okay, the next problem, we actually are working with mixed numbers. So we have 6 3/4 that we're multiplying by 2 and 1/3. Again, we multiply going straight across. However, when working with mixed numbers, there is a step we must complete before we can go ahead and do the steps we did with the first problem. So this step is going to ask us to convert these mixed numbers into improper fractions. And we know that we can do that by multiplying the denominator times the whole number, and then we're going to go ahead and add the product of doing that to the numerator. So in other words, this would be 4 times 6, whatever we get, plus 3. Okay, so 4 times 6 gives us 24, plus 3 would give us 27. So we're going to go ahead and use 27 as our numerator, and our denominator will be kept the same, which is 4. And we're still setting up our problem. So we will go ahead now and work on the other improper fraction. Okay, so we have 2 and 1/3. Again, we're going to multiply denominator times whole number, add the product to the numerator. So that's 3 times 2, 6 plus 1, 7. And that's going to be over the denominator of 3. Okay, So now we're going to see if there's anywhere that we can reduce. 4 and 27 cannot be reduced. Neither can 4 and 7. However, we can reduce 3 and 27. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that using 3 as our GCF of 3 and 27. We can ask ourselves, how many times does 3 go into itself? Once. How many times does 3 go into 27? 9 times. Okay, so now we're going to end up with a new problem, which is 9 over 4 times 7 over 1. And we're going to follow the rules, which say numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. All right, so now at this point, we're going to finish up by multiplying 9 times 7, which is 63, over 4 times 1, which is 4. Now, this is an improper fraction answer, so we cannot leave it this way. We're going to go ahead now and we are going to simplify this. And the way that we simplify improper fractions is to divide. So in our rough work, we can go ahead and set this up. We're going to divide 63 by 4. 4 goes into 6 once. 1 times 4 is 4. We subtract. 6 take away 4 leaves us with 2. We bring down the next digit, which is 3. And now we figure out how many groups of 4 we can get from 23. So 4 goes into 23 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. 23 take away 20, 3 take away 0 is 3, 2 take away 2 is 0. So we know that we have a remainder, don't know if this is going to fit, but we have a remainder of 3. Now we set this up by saying, or by writing 15 as our whole number. The remainder 3 is the numerator, and our denominator is still 4. So when we multiply 6 and 3/4 by 2 and 1/3, we get 15 and 3 over 4. The only thing that is different is that we have to convert our mixed numbers into improper fractions before we can go ahead and follow the steps to multiply.